Kate Mitchell stood at the window of her ship, looking out at the stars. She had been a diplomat for 20 years. Her job was to keep peace between humans and aliens. Today felt like any other day until the message came. Captain Jake Morrison ran into her office. His face was white with shock. "Ambassador, we just got word from New Haven Colony. They're under attack." Kate turned around fast. "Attack? From who?" "The Zephyrians," Jake said. His hands were shaking as he held the datapad. "They hit the colony 3 hours ago. No warning, no message. They just started shooting." Kate felt her heart stop. The Zephyrians had signed a peace treaty with humans 100 years ago. Both sides had kept that promise for a whole century. There had been no wars, no fights, no problems. Why would they break it now? "How bad is it?" Kate asked, though she was afraid to hear the answer. Jake looked at his pad. 15,000 dead so far. They hit the schools first, then the hospitals. The power plants are gone. Most of the city is on fire. Kate sat down hard in her chair. 15,000 people, families, children, all dead because someone decided to break a promise that had kept peace for so long. "What about our defense ships?" she asked. "The Zephyrians hit them first. Our fleet was in dock for repairs. They knew exactly where to strike. This wasn't random, Ambassador. They planned this." Kate's mind was racing. She had talked to leaders just last month. They had seemed happy with the treaty. They had even talked about new trade deals. What had changed? Her communication system beeped. It was Director Paul Stevens from Earth's diplomatic corps. His face appeared on her screen, and he looked older than she had ever seen him. "Kate, I'm sorry you had to hear about this. We're getting reports from all over. This isn't just New Haven. The Zephyrians are moving on 3 other colonies too." "Paul, this makes no sense. We had a good relationship with them. Ambassador Vexstar just sent me a birthday message last week. Why would they do this?" Paul rubbed his tired eyes. "They're claiming we broke the treaty first. They say we've been building weapons in forbidden space. They say we've been planning to attack them." "That's crazy," Kate said. "We haven't built any weapons. We've been following the treaty exactly. I know that. You know that. But they're using it as an excuse. They want war, Kate. They've wanted it for a while, and now they're taking it." Kate looked out the window again. Somewhere out there, people were dying. People who trusted the treaty to keep them safe. People who believed that words on paper could stop bullets and bombs. "What are my orders?" she asked. Paul was quiet for a long moment. "You're going to the Zephyrian homeworld. One last diplomatic mission. One final chance for peace." Kate nodded. It's what she did. When things got bad, they sent her to talk. She was good at talking. She could make enemies into friends. She had done it before. "When do I leave?" "Now. Captain Morrison has already changed course. You'll reach Threnody in 6 days." The communication ended, and Kate was alone with her thoughts. She walked to her bookshelf and pulled out a small photo. It showed her with a group of human and Zephyrian children at a peace ceremony 5 years ago. Everyone was smiling. Everyone looked happy. How had it gone so wrong? Captain Morrison knocked on her door. "Ambassador, we're getting more reports from New Haven. The fighting has stopped, but the damage is bad. Really bad." Kate put the photo down. "Tell me, the colony is destroyed. Most of the people who could run away did, but the Zephyrians took prisoners, thousands of them. They're demanding that Earth surrender all our outer colonies, or they'll kill the prisoners." Kate felt anger rise in her chest. This wasn't war. This was murder. This was breaking every rule that civilized people followed. "There's something else," Jake said. "Admiral Lisa Parker wants to talk to you. She's on the battleship Retribution. She's asking for a secure channel." Kate frowned. Why would a military admiral want to talk to a diplomat? Her job was peace, not war. Put her through. Admiral Parker's face appeared on screen. She was a tough woman with gray hair and hard eyes. Ambassador Mitchell, I know this is a difficult time, but I need you to know that your mission is very important. More important than you might think. Admiral, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to try to fix this mess. I know. And we're all hoping you succeed. But Kate, you need to be ready for the possibility that talking might not work this time. Kate didn't like the way the Admiral was looking at her. There was something she wasn't saying. What aren't you telling me? Just be careful. And remember, sometimes the most important part of being a diplomat is knowing when diplomacy has failed. The communication ended, leaving Kate with more questions than answers. She looked at the photo again. Those smiling children. Where were they now? Were they safe? Were they even alive? She walked to her desk and began preparing for what might be the most important conversation of her life. Somewhere in space, the Zephyrians were celebrating their victory. They thought they had won an easy fight against weak humans. They had no idea what was coming. The next morning, Kate woke up to find her ship had changed course completely. They were no longer heading toward Earth. Instead, they were moving toward the edge of human space, where the big military ships waited. Captain Morrison brought her coffee and sat down across from her. We're meeting with Admiral Parker's fleet in 2 hours. She wants to brief you personally. Kate sipped her coffee and tried to understand why a diplomat needed to meet with warships. Jake, how long have we known each other? 15 years. Ever since you became an ambassador. In all that time, have you ever seen me work with the military? Jake shook his head. No, you always said that guns and talking don't mix well. Exactly. So why now? Jake looked uncomfortable. Maybe because this time is different. Maybe because 15,000 people are dead, and more will die if we don't do something. Kate couldn't argue with that. The reports from New Haven kept getting worse. The Zephyrians weren't just occupying the colony. They were destroying everything humans had built there. Schools, hospitals, homes, everything. 2 hours later, Kate found herself on the bridge of the battleship Retribution. She had never been on a military ship before. It was bigger than her diplomatic vessel and filled with weapons she didn't understand. Soldiers walked around with serious faces, preparing for something she hoped would never come. Admiral Parker met her in a small room away from the busy bridge. Ambassador, thank you for coming. I know this isn't your usual environment. It's not, Kate agreed. Admiral, why am I here? Why not send me straight to the Zephyrian homeworld? Because your mission has changed. You're not just going to talk anymore. You're carrying something very important. The Admiral placed a sealed case on the table. It was black metal with locks Kate had never seen before. What's in it? Information, evidence, proof of what the Zephyrians have really been doing for the past 5 years. Kate looked at the case suspiciously. What kind of proof? The kind that might save lives. The kind that might prevent a war that could kill millions of people on both sides. Kate didn't like the way this felt. Something was wrong, but she couldn't figure out what. Commander Ryan Davis knocked on the door. Kate was happy to see him. Ryan had been her security chief for 10 years. He was one of the few people she completely trusted. Kate, I need to talk to you privately, Ryan said. Admiral Parker nodded. I'll give you a few minutes. When the Admiral left, Ryan sat down next to Kate. Something's not right about this mission. What do you mean? I've been talking to the crew. This isn't a normal diplomatic run. Half the people on this ship don't even know where we're going. The other half won't tell me what they know. Kate looked at the sealed case. Ryan, what do you think is really happening? I think they're sending you into danger, and I think they're not telling you everything you need to know to stay safe. Double quotes. Dr. Amanda Foster entered the room. She was a scientist who studied alien biology. Kate had worked with her before on peaceful missions. Ambassador, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have information you need to see. Amanda placed a data pad on the table. These are intelligence reports from the past 6 months. The Zephyrians haven't just been planning to attack New Haven. They've been building weapons and ships all over their territory. Kate looked at the data. Even she could see that the numbers were scary. The Zephyrians had been preparing for war for a long time. Why didn't anyone tell me this before? Because it's classified, Amanda said. But you're walking into their home system? You deserve to know what you're facing. Admiral Parker came back into the room. Ambassador, it's time to go. Your ship is ready. Kate stood up, but she felt uneasy. Admiral, I need to know what's really in this case. You'll find out when you need to. For now, just know that it might be the only thing that prevents total war. Kate picked up the case. It was heavier than it looked. And if the Zephyrians don't listen, if they refuse to negotiate, the Admiral's face became very serious. Then you come home, and we do what we have to do. As Kate walked back to her ship, Ryan stayed close to her. Kate, I don't like this. Something feels like a trap. A trap for who? Me, or them? I don't know. But I wish we could turn around and go home. Kate looked back at the battleship Retribution. It was huge and covered with weapons. Around it, she could see other military ships, dozens of them, all preparing for something. Ryan, when did we become the kind of people who solve problems with guns instead of words? Maybe when someone killed 15,000 of our people without warning. Kate couldn't argue with that logic, but it still felt wrong. She had spent her whole career believing that any problem could be solved by talking. Now she was carrying a mysterious case into enemy territory, surrounded by warships. As her ship left the human fleet, Kate opened a communication channel to Earth. Director Stevens appeared on her screen. Kate, how are you feeling about the mission? Confused, scared, angry. Take your pick. Those are normal feelings. You're doing something very important. Maybe the most important thing any diplomat has ever done. Paul, what happens if I fail? What happens if the Zephyrians won't listen? Stevens was quiet for a long moment. Then we find out if humans are as peaceful as we like to think we are. The communication ended, and Kate was alone with her thoughts again. Through her window, she could see the stars. Somewhere out there, Zephyrian ships were probably moving toward more human colonies. Somewhere else, human military commanders were making plans she didn't want to think about. She looked at the sealed case sitting on her desk. Whatever was inside it, she had a feeling it would change everything. The question was whether it would change things for better or worse. Captain Morrison's voice came over the intercom. Ambassador, we'll reach Zephyrian space in 4 days. You might want to prepare your diplomatic materials. Kate laughed, but there was no humor in it. Diplomatic materials, as if this was still about diplomacy. As if words still mattered when thousands of people were dead. She opened her laptop and began writing what might be humanity's final attempt at peace. The Zephyrian homeworld of Threnody was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Kate had visited it twice before during peaceful missions. Now, as her ship approached the planet, she could see new things that hadn't been there before. Military stations orbited the world like metal moons. Warships moved between them in organized patterns. They've been busy, Captain Morrison said as he watched the scanner readings. Those defense platforms are new. So are half of those ships. Kate nodded. The Zephyrians had been preparing for war while smiling and shaking hands with human diplomats. The betrayal felt personal now. A Zephyrian voice came over the communication system. Human vessel, you are entering restricted space. State your purpose. Kate took the microphone. This is Ambassador Kate Mitchell, of Earth. I'm here to speak with High Chancellor Vexstar about recent events. There was a long pause. Then the voice returned. You will be escorted to the capital. Do not deviate from the assigned flight path. 3 Zephyrian fighter ships appeared around Kate's vessel. They looked sleek and dangerous. much more advanced than the ships she remembered from her previous visits. They've upgraded their technology too, Commander Davis observed. Those fighters are using energy signatures I've never seen before. An hour later, Kate stood in the Grand Chamber, where she had held peaceful negotiations many times before. But now the room felt different. More guards stood at the doors. The Zephyrian officials looked at her with cold eyes instead of friendly faces. "Hi, Chancellor." Vexstar entered the room. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. Kate had shared meals with him during previous visits. He had seemed reasonable then. Now he looked at her like she was an enemy. "Ambassador Mitchell," he said in perfect English, "I am surprised to see you here. Surprised that Earth would send a diplomat after what your people have done." Kate kept her voice calm and professional. "Chancellor, I'm here because of what your people have done. The attack on New Haven was unprovoked. 15,000 innocent civilians are dead." Vexstar's expression didn't change. "Innocent. Your people have been violating our treaty for years, building weapons in forbidden sectors, planning attacks on our colonies. We simply struck first." Kate opened her briefcase and pulled out a data pad. "I have detailed records of every human ship movement in the past 5 years. We have broken no treaty terms. We have built no weapons in restricted space." "Your records lie," said General Catherine, the Zephyrian military commander. "We have proof of human aggression, proof of your plans to invade our territory." Kate looked at the data they showed her. It was clearly fake. Ships that didn't exist, in places humans had never been, doing things that made no sense. "This evidence is fabricated," Kate said. "You know it, and I know it. The question is why you're lying." Chancellor Vexstar stood up. His voice became angry. "Humans think they are special. You think you can spread across the galaxy and take whatever you want? We will not allow it." Kate realized that logic and evidence wouldn't work here. The Zephyrians had already decided to have this war. They just needed excuses to feel good about it. "Chancellor, I'm here to offer you one final chance for peace. Withdraw your forces from human space. Release the prisoners from New Haven. Return to the terms of our treaty. Do this, and we can forget this ever happened." The Zephyrian leaders looked at each other and laughed. Actually laughed. "You offer us peace," General Catherine said. Your entire species couldn't stop one of our battle groups. You have no military, no weapons, no courage. You are weak." Kate felt anger rising in her chest, but she kept her voice steady. "We are not weak. We simply chose peace." "There's a difference." "There is no difference," Vexter said. "Weakness is weakness, and weak species do not deserve to control valuable territory." Kate realized that this conversation was pointless, but she had to try one more time. She reached into her briefcase and pulled out the sealed case Admiral Parker had given her. "Before you make your final decision, you should look at this." She placed the case on the table and entered the unlock code she had been given. Inside were photographs, documents, and data chips. "What is this?" Vexstar asked. "Proof," Kate said. Simply, she spread the photographs across the table. They showed Zephyrian military bases, ship construction facilities, and weapon storage areas. But they also showed something else. Human ships in orbit around Zephyrian worlds. Human surveillance. Equipment, gathering information. Human agents moving freely through Zephyrian space. The Zephyrian leaders looked at the photos with growing alarm. "How did you get these?" General Catherine demanded. Kate smiled for the first time since arriving. "We've been watching you for 3 years. Every ship you built, every weapon you made, every plan you developed. We know about all of it." Chancellor Vexstar's face turned darker. "Impossible. Our security is perfect." "Apparently not," Kate said. "We know about your secret alliance with the Mordock Empire. We know about the new weapons you bought from them. We know about your plan to attack 6 human colonies Not just one. The room became very quiet. Kate could see fear in the Zephyrian faces now, mixed with anger. "This changes nothing," Vextar said, but his voice sounded less confident. "You are still weak. You still cannot stop us." Kate stood up and gathered the photographs. "Chancellor, I came here to offer you peace. You've refused. I came here to show you evidence. You've ignored it. Now, I'm going to give you a warning." She looked directly into Vextar's large black eyes. "Humanity is not as weak as you think. We are not as helpless as you believe. And we are not as forgiving as we used to be. Are you threatening us?" General Catherine asked. "I'm informing you," Kate said. "You have 72 hours to withdraw from human space and release your prisoners. After that, you'll discover what humans are really capable of." Chancellor Vextar laughed again, but it sounded forced now. 72 hours. Or what? You'll send more diplomats to talk at us. Kate picked up her briefcase and walked toward the door. At the threshold, she turned back. "Chancellor, in all our years of friendship, did I ever lie to you?" "No," he admitted. "Then believe me now. You have made a terrible mistake. You can still fix it, but your time is running out." Kate left the chamber and walked back to her ship. Behind her, she could hear the Zephyrian leaders arguing in their own language. Some sounded worried. Others sounded angry, as her ship lifted off from Threnody. Kate opened a secure communication channel to Earth. When the connection was established, she spoke 2 words that would change everything. Diplomacy failed. As Kate's ship left Zephyrian space, she felt empty inside. 20 years of being a diplomat, and it had all come to this. Failure, war, death. She sat in her quarters, looking at the sealed case that had caused so much fear in the Zephyrian leaders. How had humans gotten those photographs? How had they known about secret Zephyrian plans? Captain Morrison knocked on her door. "Ambassador, we're getting a priority message from Earth. Admiral Martinez wants to speak with you on a secure channel." Kate didn't know Admiral Tony Martinez personally, but she knew his reputation. He was the head of Human Fleet Intelligence, the kind of person who knew secrets that could start or stop wars. When his face appeared on her screen, Kate was surprised by how young he looked. She had expected someone older, more serious. "Ambassador Mitchell, I understand your mission didn't go as planned." "That's one way to put it," Kate said. "The Zephyrians aren't interested in peace. They want war, and they think they can win easily." "About that," Martinez said, "I need to tell you something about your mission. Something you weren't told before." Kate felt a cold feeling in her stomach. "What do you mean? The case you carried to Threnody? The photographs you showed them? That wasn't just evidence, Ambassador. That was intelligence gathering. I don't understand." Martinez looked uncomfortable. "Every time you visited a Zephyrian world as a diplomat, your ship was equipped with scanning equipment, special sensors that could see through their security systems. For 3 years, every diplomatic mission was also a spy mission." Kate stared at the screen. "Are you telling me I've been a spy this entire time without knowing it? You've been doing your job as a diplomat. But yes, your ship has also been collecting information." Kate felt sick. "I violated their trust. I went to their worlds pretending to be a friend while I was really stealing their secrets." "You were keeping humanity safe," Martinez said firmly. "Those secrets saved lives. The information you gathered showed us that the Zephyrians were planning this war long before New Haven was attacked." Commander Davis entered Kate's quarters. He had been listening to the conversation from the bridge. Admiral Ryan said, "Are you telling us that Kate was used without her knowledge?" "I'm telling you that Kate's diplomatic missions served 2 purposes. Peace was always the primary goal. Intelligence gathering was secondary." Kate stood up and walked to her window. She felt betrayed by her own people. How many missions? How many times did I lie to alien leaders without knowing I was lying? 17 missions over 3 years. All to Zephyrian territory. All successful. Engineer Sam Collins appeared on the screen next to Admiral Martinez. Ambassador, I designed the scanning systems on your ship. They're completely passive. They don't interfere with your diplomatic work. They just record what's around you. That's not the point, Kate said angrily. The point is that I was deceived. My own government turned me into a spy without telling me. Would you have agreed to do it if we had asked? Martinez asked. Kate thought about it honestly. No, I believe in diplomacy. I believe in trust. I would never have agreed to spy on people I was trying to make peace with, and that's exactly why you were so good at it, Sam said. You acted naturally because you didn't know you were acting. The Zephyrians trusted you because your desire for peace was real. Kate sat down again. Her whole career felt like a lie. Now, what happens now? Now that they know what we've been doing? Martinez smiled grimly. Now they understand that humans aren't as naive as they thought. But Ambassador, there's something else you need to know. More secrets. The most important one. Your diplomatic bag didn't just contain evidence of Zephyrian military buildup. It contained complete blueprints of their defense systems, locations of their command centers, weaknesses in their ship designs, everything we need to end this war quickly. Kate felt the blood drain from her face. End it? How? The same way they started it, with a surprise attack. Except ours will be bigger and more effective. You're going to attack their homeworld. We're going to attack 17 Zephyrian military installations simultaneously. Their entire war machine will be destroyed in less than 6 hours. Kate stood up again. How many people will die? Far fewer than would die in a long war, Martinez said. The targets are all military. We're not attacking cities or civilians. Commander. Davis looked troubled. Admiral, how long have you been planning this? Since the first intelligence reports showed Zephyrian military buildup 2 years ago. We hoped diplomacy would work. We always hoped peace would continue. But we prepared for the possibility that it wouldn't. Kate realized something terrible. You knew they were going to attack New Haven. We knew they were planning something. We didn't know when or where. We hoped that showing them our intelligence might scare them into backing down. But it didn't. No, it just convinced them that they need to act faster. Kate looked at the sealed case sitting on her desk. So this entire mission was really about delivering intelligence for a military strike. It was about giving peace one last chance. When that failed, it became about giving our military the information they need to protect humanity. Engineer Collins spoke up again. Ambassador, I know this is hard to accept, but the data you collected has already saved lives. We detected Zephyrian ships moving toward 3 more colonies. Those colonies have been evacuated because of information from your missions. Kate felt torn between anger and understanding. Her government had used her, but they had also saved lives because of it. When does the attack begin? She asked. In 18 hours, Martinez said. By the time you reach human space, it will be over. Kate looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there, Zephyrian military leaders were probably planning their next attack on human colonies. They thought they were fighting weak, peaceful humans who wouldn't fight back. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Admiral, Kate said finally, I want to watch it happen. I want to see what my intelligence gathering accomplished. Are you sure? Kate thought about the children in New Haven who would never grow up. She thought about the families torn apart by Zephyrian aggression. She thought about her own naive belief that diplomacy could solve everything. I'm sure I helped make this possible. I should see what I helped create. Martinez nodded. We'll patch you into the command channel. But Ambassador, yes. When this is over, humanity will need diplomats again. Good ones. Ones who understand that sometimes peace requires strength. Kate picked up the photograph of human and Zephyrian children playing together. It seemed like it was from a different universe now. We'll see, she said quietly. 3 days after Kate left Threnody, the Zephyrians launched their second attack. This time they chose the human colony of Meridian. It was bigger than New Haven, with almost 1 million people living there. Kate watched from her ship as the Zephyrian fleet approached Meridian. There were 50 warships, more than enough to destroy the colony completely. The Zephyrians expected another easy victory like New Haven. They were wrong. As soon as the Zephyrian ships came out of hyperspace, human defense platforms opened fire. The platforms hadn't been there a week ago. They had been built and installed. In just 3 days, using intelligence, Kate had unknowingly gathered. How is this possible? Captain Morrison asked as he watched the battle on his screens. Meridian didn't have any defenses last week. Kate was connected to Admiral Martinez's command channel. She could hear him coordinating the defense. Admiral, how did you get those platforms installed so fast? We've been preparing for this for 2 years, Ambassador. We knew where they would attack next, because we knew their strategic plans. Your intelligence gave us their entire invasion schedule. On the screen, Kate watched Zephyrian ships exploding as human weapons hit them with perfect accuracy. The human defenses knew exactly where the Zephyrian ships were weakest because Kate's scanning equipment had mapped every detail of their designs. But the real surprise came next. As the Zephyrian fleet struggled with Meridian's unexpected defenses, human warships appeared from hyperspace behind them. Dozens of ships that had been hiding, waiting for this moment. Fleet Admiral Greg Turner's voice came over the communication channel. All ships, begin Operation Thunderstrike. Target the command vessels first. Kate watched in amazement as human ships moved with perfect coordination. They weren't just defending Meridian. They were destroying the entire Zephyrian attack fleet. Admiral Martinez, Kate said, this isn't just a defense. This is a total military operation. That's correct, Ambassador. While the Zephyrians were attacking Meridian, we launched simultaneous strikes on 17 of their military bases. Every major Zephyrian fleet installation, weapons factory, and command center is under attack right now. Kate's screen showed multiple battlefields across Zephyrian space. Human ships were hitting targets with surgical precision. They knew exactly where to strike, because Kate's diplomatic missions had mapped everything. How long will it take? Kate asked. 6 hours to destroy their military capability. 12 hours to force their surrender. Kate watched as Zephyrian ships tried to retreat from Meridian, but human forces surrounded them completely. The aliens who had attacked defenseless colonies now found themselves trapped with no way to escape. Admiral Martinez appeared on Kate's screen. Ambassador, you should know that the Zephyrian government is trying to contact you. Chancellor Vex wants to negotiate. Now, he wants to talk. Apparently destroying 60% of their fleet in 3 hours has changed their perspective on human weakness. Kate thought about it. A part of her wanted to tell the Zephyrians to surrender unconditionally. They had started this war. They had killed innocent people. They deserved whatever happened to them, but she was still a diplomat. Even after everything that had happened, she believed in giving people a chance to do the right thing. Put him through. Chancellor. Vexter's face appeared on her screen. He looked terrified. Behind him, Kate could see Zephyrian officials running around in panic. Ambassador Mitchell, you must stop this attack. We want to negotiate. Kate kept her voice calm and cold. 3 days ago, I offered you negotiations. You laughed at me. You called humans weak. You said we deserved to lose our territory. We were wrong. We made a mistake. Please, you must call off your ships. I'm not in command of those ships, Chancellor. I'm just a diplomat. Remember, the weak human who came to beg for peace. Vexter's voice became desperate. What do you want? What will it take to stop this? Kate looked at the battle displays around her. Human forces were winning everywhere. The Zephyrian military was collapsing faster than anyone had expected. I want the same thing I wanted 3 days ago. Withdraw from all human territory. Release all prisoners. Pay reparations for the damage you've caused. Yes, we agree to all of that. Just stop the attacks. And one more thing, Kate said. Complete disarmament. You will destroy all military ships except for basic system defense. You will close all weapons factories. You will accept human monitoring to ensure compliance. Vexstar looked like he was going to be sick. That would leave us defenseless. You should have thought of that before you broke a treaty that kept peace for 100 years. Kate could see other Zephyrian leaders arguing behind the Chancellor. Some wanted to keep fighting. Others wanted to surrender completely. We need time to consider your terms, Vexstar said. You have 30 minutes, Kate replied. After that, Admiral Turner will resume operations until your entire military is destroyed. The communication ended, and Kate was alone with her thoughts again. Through her window, she could see the wreckage of Zephyrian ships floating in space around Meridian. A week ago, she would have felt sad seeing any ships destroyed. Now she felt nothing but cold satisfaction. Commander Davis sat down next to her. Kate, are you okay? I don't know. A week ago, I believed that any problem could be solved by talking. Now I'm watching my intelligence work destroy an entire alien military. Do you regret it? Kate thought about the children from New Haven, who would never grow up. She thought about the families torn apart by Zephyrian aggression. She thought about what would have happened if humans had remained defenseless and trusting. No, she said finally. I regret that it was necessary, but I don't regret that we were prepared. 28 minutes later, Chancellor Vexstar called back. His face looked older and more tired. We accept your terms, he said quietly. All of them. We will withdraw from human space immediately. We will release the prisoners. We will pay reparations. We will disarm our military. Kate nodded. Admiral Turner will verify compliance. Any attempt to hide weapons or ships will result in the complete occupation of your homeworld. We understand. Chancellor, I want you to remember something. Humans spent 100 years keeping our word to you. We honored every part of our treaty. We trusted you. And you betrayed that trust for no reason except greed and arrogance. Vexstar said nothing. The next time you think humans are weak, Kate continued, remember this day. Remember that we gave you peace for a century, and when you chose war instead, we ended your military in less than 6 hours. The communication ended. Kate looked at the battle displays one more time. The fighting was already stopping as ships surrendered or retreated. Admiral Martinez's voice came over the channel. All objectives achieved, Ambassador. The Zephyrian military no longer exists as an effective fighting force. Kate leaned back in her chair. It was over. The war that had lasted less than a week was finished. Humanity had won completely, but Kate didn't feel like celebrating. She felt tired. Tired of secrets. Tired of violence. Tired of learning that the peaceful universe she believed in was really much darker and more dangerous. Captain Morrison brought her a cup of coffee. So what happens now, Ambassador? Kate looked at the photograph of human and Zephyrian children playing together. Maybe someday there would be peace again, real peace. But this time, humanity would be ready if someone decided to break it. Now we go home, she said, and we make sure this never happens again. Outside her window, the stars looked the same as always, but Kate knew that everything had changed. Humanity was no longer the naive, trusting species that had signed the original treaty. They had learned a hard lesson about the price of peace and the cost of being unprepared. The galaxy was about to learn that humans could be very good neighbors, but they could also be very dangerous enemies.